Welcome to another episode of What's the Point podcast, a unique show about men and their mental health. There are no doctors, no professionals, just real men talking about real stuff. And now, the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new edition of What's the Point podcast. I am your co-host, Bill Deckis. I am here again with Mr. Mark Meyer.
Super glad to be here. Really excited for our guest today.
You sound like it. Wow.
I am.
That's a lot of energy, man. We're going to have to dial you down a little bit. We also have our producer and newest addition to the program, Andy Bernard.
I'm less excited because I don't know who our guest is. I'm sure he'll be great.
Well, you'll see. And Mr. Mark Wick, the coach, the hockey coach. We you know what? With two Marks, we got to come up with a name for you.
Meyer?
You go by Meyer, I'll go by Wick.
There you go.
Let's do that.
Easy peasy.
That won't be confusing at all.
Well, you should call him the coach. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got it.
I like the coach. We'll go with the coach.
I've been called a lot worse.
You have been in the hallway on the way up.
Even by you guys.
Yeah. So how are you, Mr. Wick?
You know what? I'm good. Last time we caught up, and I appreciate you guys asking about. I look pretty good today, right?
You look fantastic. You're dressed in blue
you look a little diagonal in the video, so I'm going to come fix that quick.
Ah.
Oh, well, I'm usually off kilter anyways, but did you want to know where this came from? Oh, okay.
We do.
I didn't cover this last week when we were doing our catch-up. I know you guys read about, it's from the 2024 Silver Bay Men's Invitational Golf Tournament, where you're looking at the Senior Division third flight champ.
Wow. What'd you shoot?
No big deal. I won.
But what'd you shoot?
Yep. It's match play.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Score is not important.
4 men registered. It's Silver Bay. It's a lonely town. I mean, I've seen you golf. You are a fantastic golfer. Nobody hits it straighter 190 off the tee than you.
I wish. 190. But I play from the golds now, too. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, your old age is coming to help you out. That's nice.
Always a positive.
As people that are watching can tell, we have a guest with us today. We're excited to have Mr. Joey Torkildson with us. We're going to hear Joey's story in just a little bit. But, Mark and Coach, however we're going to call you guys, I don't think there's something you didn't know about Andy. Andy is a Google savant.
Ah.
He is an AI maestro. When I listen to him on the Tom Bernard podcast, the family will be talking about something, and all of a sudden, bam, 15 seconds later, Andy will have the information.
That's what I do.
I don't know what it is. It's keywords, it's typing skills, whatever it is, but he is an awesome person at that. So I thought what we'd do in this opening segment is maybe have something like a Google minute maybe, or an AI moment, and see if just Andy could just randomly Google something and see what he comes up with.
Works for me.
What do you got, Andy?
Who's the third flight champ at? No, sorry.
Well, I know Bill came up with one.
Oh, yeah, that's shocking based on
weird.
that intro.
Okay.
No way, never saw that coming.
How popular is the name Joey?
How popular is the name Joey?
I think kind of popular. I know.
What's the metric? Like, are we grading this?
It's
or
like number, so like number 1, number 2.
I'm
Joey.
going to say Joey's top 10.
I'm going to say 11.
372.
Huh, well.
Wow.
So you're a bit
That's
off.
not bad.
Alfonso came in at 371.
Joey hasn't been a popular name for quite a while, actually, it looks like. But 60s through the 80s, it was the most popular.
80s.
But
there you go.
There's
Yep.
that one song, I think it's by Four Non-Blonde. What's that song? Joey.
I don't even
Baby.
Can you cut his mic off, please?
Wow.
You know what song I'm talking about, Andy.
I would start up.
You're talking about Joey by Concrete Blonde?
Concrete Blondes.
There you go.
Yep.
Concrete Blondes.
Concrete
Wow.
Blondes. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Never sung like that either, I bet.
Baby.
I was going to fire up Shazam and see if it was going to pick up on that, but I'm not sure if
It's
it would.
it's at the top of one of my playlists from college.
So you got that list in front of you, Andy?
The names.
The names?
I can.
Where's Mark?
1.
Yeah, of course. It's number 1. Just it says right here. Number 1 forever. Never hasn't been.
Wow.
Where?
Joey.
So the way I interpret that is you're just run of the mill, and
Baby.
he's kind of a
Special
rare
dude.
find.
I guess so.
That's what I'd say.
Where's William? Where's Liam?
Liam.
Liam cannot be popular.
Wow. Oh, wow. Story of my life right there. Wow. Holy crap.
Well, I've never met
Not
a
only did you not want to be Liam, apparently nobody else did either.
I've never met a Liam in my life.
Oh, man.
No, actually, it's one of the top choices for 2024.
Wow. Wow.
Number one for the 8th consecutive year.
Wow, look at that.
See?
So it's
No
a young
way.
boy's name.
Seriously?
Actually, what most people
Apparently.
don't realize when I say that is just the last 4 of William.
Yeah.
That's where it came
People
from.
didn't know that?
No, most people don't.
So we're both right. It was extremely unpopular because I'm, not under the age of 8.
Wow.
But for baby boys, apparently, it's like best name out there.
Wow.
See?
That's incredible. Ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the
Man.
curve.
No
Like I
idea
said,
what
that
you've
became
walked
popular
into, do you,
once-
Joe?
I know exactly what I've walked into, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying this.
And you're still here?
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this is serious now. Dial it in.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear all about Joey's story. I know a lot of it. You guys are really going to love it. And we'll be right back after this break.
At Brand Inc., we know your business's reputation rides on every detail, especially when it's on the road. Our commercial vehicle wraps combine eye-catching design, 3M-backed installation, and a seamless process built for busy teams. Whether it's one truck or an entire fleet, we help you turn heads, build trust, and grow your business. Your vehicles are always moving. Make sure your brand moves with them. Start your project at brandinc.com. That's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
It is really, really good to be back in studio and to get this. This is the second one we've recorded since we dialed this back in, and I'm so glad to be here. And today we actually have a guest for whom I have become pretty close with over the last few months. I've known Joey for a number of years. But Joey, we are super glad to have you. We are excited to hear your story, and why don't you just tell the folks a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, no, thanks. And it's been awesome. I mean, this is so cool being in studio with you guys. I love this. And I was kind of biting my tongue because, once I get going.
We know.
You guys know
I
this.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're familiar.
All right. No, thank you for having me on. I really am so grateful. And, how I discovered Face It was really interesting because I was in the Army for 23 years. And when I got out of the Army, I had a pretty interesting gap in what I had in the military, which was an outlet. I had an outlet in the military that you never really, I guess I really never appreciated. It was kind of interesting. But then I was out for a couple of years and I realized wow, we would get together with the military boys and, holy smokes, we would vent, we would talk, we would do all the things, good and bad, just everything, everything. And it was awesome. And then being out, I was like, wow, that outlet is gone. And it was interesting how I ran into it because, I had a couple friends that brought it up, one that was in Face It and one that was not. And said you should check this organization out, and that's how I originally got connected.
I got connected to us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So you came to Face It, what, probably 2 years ago?
I think going on 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So you had this outlet. You were in the military for a number of years. How old are you, Joey?
40. You know what? I'm level 44.
You're level 44.
I'm not saying how old I am as an age. I'm level 44.
You're level 44. All right, you can explain that on the next segment of What's the Point podcast. So you spend this time in the military. You come out. You have this outlet. Obviously, you're talking about connecting community. Guys that you had a lot in common with.
Yep.
What happened at at this point in your life that you reached out to Face It? What was going on? Tell us a little bit about those challenges or what that looked like.
Gosh, I love that I'm in this audience, meeting with you all, because you get it when I say what I'm going to say is, starting probably before I got out of the military, probably about 10 years ago, I call it like a darkness started setting in randomly. I mean, at least for me, that's what it was. I would just get real low for no reason. I think the stress of life, I'm 44, so probably at 34, it's like, kids, Army, I'm an entrepreneur, so business, you just get into life, and all of a sudden just man, I was having these low moments where I'm just bummed. I started getting suicidal, to be honest. There were some times where all of a sudden I'm having some darker thoughts, going, where is this coming from? How is this even a thing?
And that's not bummed, right? Like guys we minimize. I'm bummed
do,
out.
yeah.
I'm bummed out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm bummed out because traffic's bad.
Yep.
I'm feeling suicidal is a little darker and deeper than
I know.
being bummed out.
I know. It's so funny because it's almost like I lighten it up. I don't
Right.
know why, but
So maybe what we do.
Yeah, we probably lighten it up a little bit. And it was scary. To be honest, it was kind of scary where you go, what the hell? Why is this even a thing? But boy, talk about white knuckling it for 8 years. Meaning I didn't do anything with it.
Until you started calling us. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
8
I
years
would
prior?
say yes. Probably about when I started calling Face It is when I really started taking it serious.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
Wick, anybody in your life, or anybody who ever white knuckled it, or Bill, anybody ever white? I mean, is that a guy thing or what?
I've heard that at Face It before.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I've lived it. But
Yeah.
and it's the whole, when you said those lulls, and I don't know about you, but then a lot of times we can be like, well, yeah, but I'm in the Army, I'm a parent, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm busy. Like,
Yep.
okay, this comes, right?
Yep.
Or then when you start having these really dark thoughts, not just bummed, it's like, then we beat ourselves up like, why do I have to be like? I'm not as like. Look at it. I got a great family. I got this. I got that. And then we beat ourselves up there, and it's this constant cycle when we stay in here that will tell us the most random bad things.
Well, and what's interesting about it is that, boy, something as simple. I was just telling someone about Face It, and I was like, it's really interesting at how something so simple can be so impactful. Because, when I talk about white knuckling it for 8 years, you just go, I'm okay. I also had so much stuff going on. I was busy. So in a way, you almost like, I don't have time for this. I know that sounds so weird. I don't have time to be, bummed or depressed or whatever. You just kind of pick yourself back up. But it was this roller coaster. Then here comes Face It, and I start having another platform where it's like, well, wait a second. I can go and now I have an outlet where I have a few guys that are in my group that just are an ear. No advice.
Right.
Just kind of like, hey, I can say anything.
Right.
And how often in my normal life, when I look back, other than military,
Right.
if we go on an exercise and we're gone for a week at a training thing, well, guess what? You're talking about all kinds of shit.
Right.
And so, but boy, in your normal life, I think about just the men in just normal life. When did they have that?
Well, that's interesting. You talk about this darkness and stuff. What about, how was that with your family? How was that with your wife and that kind of thing? How did that affect it?
It's interesting because you don't really realize how disruptive it is until, it's like in retrospect. Yeah. My wife once, a couple years ago, told me, she said, I actually started keeping track.
Oh, really?
It was really interesting. Because I would downplay it, because I would most of the time I play it off, as you guys know, I play it off like everything's fine for most of the world. Mm-hmm. Even if I am down and out, guess what? I show up and I'm a spaz.
Right.
So Kendall used to actually, she said, because I would be like, I'm probably not that bad that often.
And that's, we can get to Kendall here. That's a classic guy thing. We don't see who we are, what we're going through.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, and when I remember when I said that, she goes, by the way, at first I was pissed that she was tracking. It was kind of, I don't know why I got defensive with it, which is silly. But I got defensive, and she goes, yeah. By the way, looks like this month it actually was 7 times, and you go, what? No way. She goes, I tracked it, this date. And again, I got pissed.
So what was the pissed? Was it shame? Was it ego? Was it, don't you tell me I'm not so, what is it?
I would say, I would say kind of like almost pretentious. Oh, you keep a track?
As though we're above it.
Yeah, we're above that. Like, what is this? And now, what's interesting is I look back at that, because that was probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something. And I look back at that and like, how silly. Here's my wife, who I love dearly, and she loves me, and she's actually taking it very seriously. Like, all right, I gotta keep track of this because it's starting to get worse, right? And like the things are starting to get darker. It's being disruptive.
What was she tracking, Joey?
Just tracking when I would go inside, because the thing is with that. Well, okay, I'll say this with someone with my personality, when I'm at home. If I'm not in a great spot, it is so overly evident Because I walk in the door and I go, "What's up?" to everybody.
Right.
And so if I'm just sitting there, or if I just go downstairs alone, like by myself,
What's wrong?
Where's Dad?
Right.
Or where's Joey?
And I don't know about you, but when I did that, I assumed I wasn't bothering or affecting anyone.
Yeah. Right.
It was just me.
Yep.
Don't tell me about me because it doesn't affect you guys.
Right.
Right.
Yep. When in fact it's the opposite.
Right.
It's so disruptive to the family.
Well, you get
Because
kids and everything.
the kids, I got an 11 and a 14-year-old now. And so what's interesting is, boy, my 14-year-old, when I'm a little off, barely off.
Senses it.
Oh man, he comes up to me, "Dad, what's up?"
Well, we play roles, and your role, Joey, is to be loud and to bring the energy and to be the guy. And you tried to do that. It sounds like for many years, even when it wasn't really what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, there's a big lesson in there for men, which is the willingness. It requires you to be vulnerable. Be it, you use the word pretentious. It requires you to put down the pretense that you're above this notion of having mental health challenges.
Yep.
And to learn to be authentic, it creates more stability, and quite honestly, it's just more authentic for your kids, for your partner, for your wife, for all of us, to act the way we really are feeling.
And how freeing it is, actually.
Right.
When you can be authentic and vulnerable with the people that you love, or the people that maybe your friends, or I think of Face It, that's what's freeing about it, is all of a sudden you go, well, you know what, let's just be real here. And I would say the last 2-3 years, I've just been able to do more. I'm not where I would like to be. I'd like to keep stripping that away and just being more authentic, more real, because I know how freeing it is.
Right.
I want it to be faster now. Versus I'm going to hang on to this for 3 days. I'd like it to be 3 minutes.
Right.
Can I go back to, so you'd come home. So the way it manifested in you was the isolation and withdrawal.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. This can look different for everybody, and we hear in these different podcasts. Like for some people, I've heard it's anger or lashing out. Some people, it's withdrawing, right? But it's that difference.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, I think it's funny that when we ask others, we think we hide it really well. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, nobody knows what, I can put this face on, or, I'm just tired. I'm just, it's a long day or whatever. But others are picking up that something's wrong, even though we think we're hiding it.
Yeah.
Did your wife, during that time, besides keep say like, hey, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
You should and when she would come downstairs and say, hey, what's going on? This isn't like you.
Yep.
How would you respond to that?
Oh, gosh. It is hiding it. Hiding it, I'm fine. All this. And it's just BS. And now I have learned, to be honest, a lot through Face It, of the power of Face It, to be honest. I have learned that now when my wife, if I'm having a valley, let's say I'm starting to hit a valley, what's amazing about it is I say starting to hit the valley. When I know I'm starting to go down, Kendall or Mason or someone, or close to me will say, what's up? Hey, something's going on. And I, with all the willpower in my mind, I will force myself to say something.
So before we talk about how that shift happened, you say when she would come to you a few years back and you didn't want to do it, and I already asked this question, what did you feel? What would it have meant to acknowledge that you're struggling?
I think it's so masculine, whatever, toxic masculinity, because I'm a doer. And in my mind, I like taking action. I take action, I get shit done, that's what I do. And so when I'm in that mode, right, what is it? It's like, well, I can handle this. I can get through this, right? It's this that I can do this alone, right? And it's like, well, guess what? I really can't.
Did you do anything in the Army alone? Or were
Oh, gosh.
Are there other people you relied on at every turn?
Basic training, they teach you the class, and I taught this to my kids. It's the funnest thing ever, is the battle buddy philosophy. Because it's like the first thing you learn in basic training, and I don't know if they still teach it. I mean, I did basic training in 2000, right? You get paired up with a battle buddy, and you don't do anything without this person. My guy's name was Facio. His last name was Facio. And you don't do anything without this guy. And in fact, if you get caught without this guy, you're done.
And yet, the notion, the belief we all carry that I got this.
Yeah.
It is such a load of shit.
I know.
And I can't ask because I don't want to burden you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yet, did you appreciate it when Facio asked you for help or needed help or anybody?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And yet,
Yep.
we don't need help.
No, we don't need help.
Guys, get that through your head. Listen, whoever's listening to this, get this through your head. We all need help. We all get help all the time. We all need to learn to be vulnerable to ask for help because in that process, you actually receive so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what gets in the way of so many people, and it's women too, but it's so many men. I don't need you. I don't need this. I can't acknowledge it. Whatever.
Well, the simple mentality is if you ask for help, that's a sign of weakness.
Yep. Right.
When actually asking for help is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
No
Because
tougher
it
thing
is
to
so
do.
You bet. You bet.
And rarely, gosh, I think about when people are vulnerable to me, when people get really real, where you go, oh shit, we're having a real conversation now. I'm all in.
It's so
very
much more
rarely,
interesting.
it's so much more interesting. Where when you really open up, meaning when someone else opens up to me, and I'm ready for it, like I am there to help. Like let's go, I got this. I want to help this person, whether it's a friend or family member or whatever. And so when I think that and I feel that, then you just go, God, how asinine is it? Now to hold it back.
Right.
But again, it takes training and practice.
Right.
I mean, it literally takes practice to pry your heart open.
Of course.
Because that's why I think
Scary.
it's this closed heart, open heart kind of thing. Your heart just closes and you got to like pry it open to let things flow and just like, boy. So again, I go back to that, taking 3 minutes versus 3 days. I would go to these things where I would shut down for 3-4 days. What the hell?
Right.
And then now I'm just all of a sudden starting to realize there's been times recently that, maybe Kendall, hey, how you doing? And I would normally say fine. And I'll just say, I'm not okay right now. Even just that. We don't even have to get into this elaborate conversation about what's going on.
Right.
Even just saying, you know what, I'm not okay. Hey, okay, is there anything you need?
Yep.
Or she might do something she knows, I like cuddling, or, I might be sitting on the chair, she'll come and, just something, she'll just give a little extra love or whatever. Just that, you just go, okay, I can do this. Whereas you sit with it, you spiral, you're going down the freaking tube, blah, 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 thoughts run,
Well, the spiraling is making up the story. It's continuation of an old story. It's the I'm a victim. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nothing goes my way. Everybody's against me. I mean, it's just the reinforcement of the things we tell ourselves over and over that aren't helpful to us.
Well, and it's the same thing. When you don't talk, you shut down. Well, now Kendall, for example, is left wondering, what did I do? Did I do something? Did the kids? What can I do to help this and that?
100%.
The communication thing is so powerful. A while back, a number of years ago, my wife and I got to the point where I can just say, I'm having a blue day. And that doesn't mean I'm going to kill myself. It just needs, today's just kind of a down day. It's okay. But that way, at least she knows what that means, as opposed to, wow, he's really quiet. He's not saying anything. Oh, my gosh, I should start worrying.
Yep. And it's been interesting having two boys, showing them that this is an actual thing has actually been very empowering.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Showing them you fail, showing them you
Right.
trip and fall. Even admitting when you do something big that's not great,
Right.
meaning like you really effed up. It's been a very empowering thing.
Well, you're teaching them the skills they need.
That's right.
We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to hear more about what the road to recovery has been. So thanks, Joey.
At Brand Inc., we know your business's reputation rides on every detail, especially when it's on the road. Our commercial vehicle wraps combine eye-catching design, 3M-backed installation, and a seamless process built for busy teams. Whether it's one truck or an entire fleet, we help you turn heads, build trust, and grow your business. Your vehicles are always moving. Make sure your brand moves with them. Start your project at brandinc.com. That's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
Well, welcome back. Hey, this has been awesome. Joey, I can't believe you've been in at Face It for as long as you have been, and I don't think we really ever met. First time I became introduced to you was when you spoke at a breakfast. And it was, you did an amazing job. I mean, a little more energy would have been nice. I didn't know. I heard you were like.
Did he have the Christmas jammies on for that talk?
I don't think so.
Remember when he rolled in the Christmas jammies? That was a look,
See, and again,
buddy.
I probably would have remembered that, but
you weren't
the
that-
rumor
that
kind of was you were a wallflower prior to coming to Face It. Really, low key, subdued guy. So I'm glad you've kind of come out of your shell a little bit. That's been inspirational.
Yeah.
So we talked about you withdrawing, your wife keeping score, and all this type of stuff. When did you finally, what was it that kind of went over the edge to face it, or that you needed to make some changes?
Yeah.
And what were those? How did that process look in your recovery?
For me personally, I think when I started having suicidal thoughts, that slapped me right upside the head. Because for anybody listening, that shit's scary.
Yep.
Because you go, where is this coming from?
Right.
Because you can't really control your thoughts. They just here they are, and that was real abrupt to me. And I go, this is okay. I have to figure something out here.
Who did you tell you were having these thoughts? Anyone, or did you tell Kendall?
I think Kendall was actually the first one that I've told that to. I actually haven't told that very many people, so now the whole world knows. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm ready for it. I wouldn't have come on here if I wasn't ready for people to hear that.
What was her response?
I think scared. Scared, and it was very abrupt, and so kind of out of nowhere. That's the other thing. Gosh, we put these personas on, and we put these masks on, and my mask is that I'm extremely positive, which I actually am.
You can be all sorts of things.
Right. Exactly.
We're a whole, we guys are so binary. We're so black and white. If I'm sad, then I'm this. If I'm lonely, then I'm this. No, you're not. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you're happy. Sometimes, it's not normal to want to harm ourselves. So that's good. You paid attention to that.
Yeah.
But we have an entire range of emotions. We talk about this with so many guys that it's they see the world in one of two ways. End of story. Well, it's really hard to live that way.
Right. There's number one, there's so much nuance, and number two, I had to become. It sounds weird to say this. I've never said it like this. I had to become a student of myself. I knew that eventually I wanted to be a student of my wife, and I wanted to learn more about her because I knew that helped the relationship. But then all of a sudden I started realizing I have a self-compassion issue, and I wasn't questioning enough about myself. Why am I saying this? Where does this coming from? Right? And just really, going within and questioning the things I'm saying, questioning the things I'm doing. Why am I doing that? Why am I acting this way? Oh, something happened. I'm in these patterns. I'm in these loops. Why is it every time we have a certain credit card bill, I start going down, just loops, constant loops. Oh my God, I've been doing this loop for 20 years. This is exhausting. Well, you know what? Half the time, most men and women, anybody, they just are constantly in the loop, mostly because they never question it.
Right.
That's just the way they live. They just never talk to anybody. They never try anything. They never just do something. And so that's, I think, honestly, back to your question is, once I started getting suicidal, I was like, okay, I have to do something here.
It's easy to become complacent with whatever your situation is, no matter how bad it is. After it's become habit, it's just, this is life now.
Right.
Yep.
And it becomes your norm, right, Andy? Like you don't see that there's an option.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when we're in that bad spot, it doesn't just affect us. It affects those around us.
Oh, yeah.
Our wife, our kids, and all that. And, you talk about wanting to learn more about your wife and all that. Like, until we do it about ourselves, a better me, a better we. Like, when I wasn't healthy, my relationship wasn't good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because it takes two.
Yep.
And if one's not healthy, we have to take that responsibility ourselves, but it's easier to look for the other person or somebody else to do it or blame them.
Well, I had a friend years back that wrote a blog that was titled "Why I'm Selfish," and I read it. It was very, very good. He's got a mentor of mine, and he said if number one's off, well, everything else sucks.
Right.
Right. So it's irresponsible for us to. I don't want to say to not be selfish, right? But to not look at ourselves as, listen, we have to be number one, meaning we have to take care of ourselves first. It's the classic, what's the classic airplane thing, right? Put the mask on yourself. Well, we don't do that.
Right.
And then we're wondering why we're in a drought or why we're in this valley.
So, almost like you knew where we were going. So what do you do? What does Joey do for himself?
I do a lot of experimenting. And I know that when I do certain things, and it's all the elementary things, maybe you've talked about it on the other shows, I don't know, but I'm just saying, all the things that I know that I do well, when I meditate, when I sleep, when I eat pretty good, I don't have to eat whole, I don't have to go crazy, I just have to eat pretty good. When I exercise, when I get my steps in, when I read, when I have time for myself,
Right.
all those simple things. And then when I don't do them, or I go drinking, or I go doing something, or I go whatever, and then all of a sudden 3-4 days later, I'm down in the valley, and I go, oh, well, that makes sense. So again, it's going back to being selfish a little bit, and not forgetting about those things.
And so in your recovery, you obviously just labeled a few very concrete things: sleep, drink, eat, exercise, etc. But in the first segment, you identified you also learned to be vulnerable, to share your feelings, to speak openly. We guys love to check boxes of the things we do, but those other things you did, those introspective things, those ability to connect with others, probably just as crucial in many ways, because they probably allow you to then do those other things, like make time for yourself so you can meditate, to ask for what you need.
One thing that I think is such a powerful experiment to do with people is to be honest. I remember I was actually I was in line to get a Starbucks. It was the funniest thing. I was getting a Starbucks, and early morning, 6 a.m, and the barista said, she was a young woman, maybe 25 or something like that. How you doing? I don't know why that day. I have no idea why I said this that day. I was like, I'm a 3 out of a 10. And she was like, at first, she kind of looked at me like, okay, and she's like,
what do I do
next?
now?
Who's next? Yeah, what do I do?
I need the manager at aisle 2.
And it was funny though. She said, we had this interesting real moment for like 60 seconds. She goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of having a shitty morning, which I was. And she goes, I'm so sorry. Like, I really, that kind of bums me out, and I really hope you have and it was just, we had this 60-second real moment.
But it was kind.
It was
caring.
kind. It was compassionate.
It was real.
Yes. And so to answer that, whatever the question was, I don't even remember what it was anymore. But, I just want to be more real with more real people, and be more kind and compassionate. I tell you what, the more kind and compassionate I can be with others, I can do it more with myself.
Right.
And because guess what? We know a large percentage of the people we're talking to every single day, they're going through some shit. So it's like, that's just the fact of life.
Right.
So let's just be there for each other at a little bit higher level.
You may have said this before. How did you find Face It?
Well, it was actually through John Gann.
Yeah. One of our my old college roommate.
Yep, he was one of the originals that brought it up to me, and then Josh Fields, who's a Face It.
Sure.
So that's how I found out about it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to follow up on that, but one quick thing back to that, what Mark said about vulnerable and all these things, besides the physical things and setting that time aside, all those things though, why did they happen? Because you made them intentional, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that they don't happen by themselves.
Right.
That you have to put the effort in. And one of the things that we talk about a lot of times is you have to be active in the recovery.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it just doesn't, so,
Yeah.
You're in a better spot you weren't just, oh, boy, he was lucky. Well, you've put the time and the effort in, and sometimes it's hard work.
Well, this is it's interesting though. It's like a 15-year, 20-year journey.
Oh,
Well,
and you're not done.
That's
And
still
I'm
going.
not done. So I mean, people say it's kind of like when there's successful businesses, and no business owner will be like, "Yeah, it was totally easy." They're like, "This has been a disaster. This has been a disaster for 30 years."
Right.
And now you're catching me when I'm, okay.
Right.
But it's like, no, listen. I think about how many books I've read. I'm a ferocious reader. So I mean, I read every single morning. And so when people are like, gosh, it seems like you know so much stuff, it's like, dude, I've been reading books for freaking 20 years and figuring stuff out and trying new things. Like that's why this is a very long journey. And like you said, Mark, I'm not done. I'm probably in a better spot than I can actually wholeheartedly say I'm in a better spot than I've ever been.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about that is that's when I get an opportunity to give back.
Right.
Right, and I was just talking about Face It with a newer member that I had referred to you guys, and he just recently joined, and we were talking about this, and I said, a lot of the times you're going to go into group, for example, and you're going to be totally fine, meaning you're going to be having a great day, or it's going to be awesome. Well, guess what? You show up for the other guys. You show up. You show up to listen, to give back, and so just because you're good to go doesn't mean the journey's over. Because number one, you're going to trip and fall. Obviously, that's going to happen. It's guaranteed, right? And now you get an opportunity to give back and show up and teach some of the lessons that you've learned or are continuing to learn. Even just saying little things to guys of like, hey, have you thought about ABC? Have you tried ABC? I don't know. A very simple thing of have you tried this?
Right.
Or sometimes saying to those people, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
And validating it.
Yep.
Because I want to ask about what it was like walking the Face It. But first, when you bring up all that, the businesses and stuff, nobody ever said it was easy because we have a motto here. At Face It, if it was easy, what would they call it?
Hockey.
Basketball. Anyways.
They'd call it the men's senior third flight to Silver Bay Open.
Anyways, when you walked into Face, I'm just curious. When you walked into Face It that first time, what was going through your mind?
Oh, yeah, that was. I was Mark. You were in my group, and it took me. It took me a session or two, I would say. And now the men in my group. Then all of a sudden, I just started exploding with stuff.
Get out.
Right?
I think I'm still wiping some of it off the wall in that group room.
Yeah, exactly. But the nice thing is since I've experimented with so many things in my relationships with people and pushed the envelope, it's interesting because someone in our group just said this. They're like, we just appreciate that you bring the real shit. Mm-hmm. And it took about a session or two, and then I was just like, well, I guess this is the platform. I'm going to lay it all out. I've probably laid 99%. There's a couple things I haven't laid out yet.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for people to understand is you don't have to go 100% all in.
Yeah.
You get to hold on to things for various reasons.
Oh, yeah. And so I think, but I think it's been freeing. That's why I go back to that freeing thing to be like, you know what? What I can show the warts and all.
Yep.
And wow, I'm not judged. That's interesting. That was really interesting to say some of these really hard and dark things, and just stains. Call them stains in the repertoire of dark things and bad things I've done or wronged people, right? And finally go, you know what? I'm not judged.
And you know what the irony is to me as I hear you say that? Maybe you had said those things previously to somebody, and you felt judged.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah.
Now you say them in a Face It group, and there may be guys who don't say anything, but you don't feel judged.
No.
It's not about other people. It's about our willingness to be honest and to acknowledge who we are and everything we've done or been through and realize I'm still okay.
Yep.
But
it actually has nothing to do with other people.
Can I ask you guys this? Because that point about you gave 99% or whatever, and Mark saying we don't have to fully open up, which I agree with 100%. Like, it's our story. Mm-hmm. We decide who we share that with.
Time and place.
Right? it's nobody else's business. But if there's other things in there, that we talk to somebody about them, that we have a platform where we can still deal with those other things. Like, nobody deserves my story,
Right.
but I deserve, if there's other things in there, to make sure I'm working on them with whomever, other guys in the group, partners, family members, whatever, but that we don't hide. Well, I'm only hiding this much.
Well, and
Go ahead, Bill.
I also think it's obvious that the things we don't share, the 1% or 2%, those are the hardest things, right? I mean, I'll share the easy stuff.
Yep.
You know what? I used to sleep in too much. That's a real problem I had. I'm not going to tell you the other stuff on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just normal.
Well, and I think that 1%, I mean, this is a nuanced conversation. That 1% is what has to be shared. The other 99 might not even matter if you're holding back the 1%. Right. Because I think what I hear you say, Mark, is for that 1% we withhold, if we withhold that from everybody, then we're not doing the work, in my opinion. What I'm kind of talking about is I've had guys come in to face it, and they're like, I want to go to my employer, and I want to shout everything. And I'm like, you don't have to do that, because there's ramifications.
And you probably shouldn't.
And there's time and place as we begin to unpack our own story. I've watched a lot of guys wade into not being ready for what they've unpacked, and then they feel bad or they feel ashamed. It's a time and place thing for sure. But
and I guess the point is that not everybody deserves your story, but you deserve to be happy.
Yeah, and deserve to deal with your own story, whatever that looks like.
However that looks like for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there's so much power when you can really grapple with, when we're talking about our story and how frail we are. Meaning meaning how many mistakes we've made. I look at level 44. I almost screwed up. I'm level 44, and how many times I've tripped and fallen. Okay. And what's interesting is there is so much power, and I'm stealing this from Sam Harris. He's got the Waking Up app.
Sam Harris.
One of the things that I love in his meditations is he's like, and you start again.
Yep.
You
It's
just
not starting
start
over.
again.
It's starting
start
again.
You know what? Yep. You're gonna screw up. I mean, he doesn't say that, but he's assuming you are.
And maybe we're not even starting again. Maybe we're just continuing on.
Well, it's
Another step.
And some of I don't know about you guys. I'm very visual, so I need to understand something that I can visualize in my head. And somebody once told me, he says, you know what? If you're driving from New York to California, midway in the country, you get a flat tire. You don't go back to frickin' New York. Fix the tire and keep moving on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of a lesson for life.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And also, and again, I'm a kind of a big words guy, semantics. When we screw up, well, how about when we're human?
Yeah.
And make a mistake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because I bet you're, Army guy, probably pretty tough. Put you and Mark in a ring. I put my money on you, right? But you probably, I would never beat anybody up like we beat ourselves up.
Oh yeah.
And that's where that compassion piece of, I'm not perfect.
Right.
Nobody expects me to be.
Yep.
But when I screw up, when I make a mistake, when
Yeah.
I'm if we're vulnerable, then we can get that help.
I will say that the last year or two, which has been ironic because it's been within Face It for sure, I've been able to, especially the last year, I have specifically worked on self-compassion. That has literally been a thing that has been it's this year's journey, last 12 months journey, is realizing that I was essentially treating myself like a piece of shit all the time. And then I just had to come to terms with the fact that, well, guess what? You're actually a really good person, dude. Like,
And the whole world saw that long before you saw it.
Yeah,
right?
we're the
And
last ones to see it.
And here's the thing. That's why it's like I started a little. I'm trying to start a little group called Living Brightly. It's just like a little community I'm trying to build. And I started realizing it. Like, you know what? Like, no, I do shine bright. And you know what's so funny though is that I think the reason I prevented myself from saying that is because, like, you don't want to sound like you have an ego, or you don't want to. Oh, I'm so cool.
We're taught to be small.
Yeah. And in a way, I'm like, well, guess what? I'm probably on planet Earth. We go back to Joey, the name, right? I mean, the Joey.
Baby.
Okay.
I should have done it. I shouldn't have done it. We go. I want to bring it. We look at full circle. We bring it back to Joey, the name of. You know what? I want to be that mischievous scamp. I like having fun. I like laughing. I like other people laughing. I don't take myself too seriously. When I'm in a room, in a conference room, I'm usually the one that's doing spitballs. And guess what? I'll probably keep doing that when I'm level 60, level 70. And that's just me. So it's like, embrace that.
Have fun.
Just have fun. you know, and I have and so the point is though, is that I had to go within and be like, nah, dude, you're worth it. And that goes back to even having suicidal thoughts. Oh my God, you're worth it. You have so much more impact you can make on people. You're not only your friends and your family, but just the people you interact with.
Right.
It's so cool to think that way. But boy, it's mental gymnastics you have to do.
And another case where we could do this for 6 hours. Love it. But we got to take a break here. We will be right back right after this.
At Brand Inc., we know your business's reputation rides on every detail, especially when it's on the road. Our commercial vehicle wraps combine eye-catching design, 3M-backed installation, and a seamless process built for busy teams. Whether it's one truck or an entire fleet, we help you turn heads, build trust, and grow your business. Your vehicles are always moving. Make sure your brand moves with them. Start your project at brandinc.com. That's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of What's the Point podcast. It certainly has been an energy-packed episode today. A lot of things have been touched on. And first of all, most importantly, I'd like to thank Joey for coming in and sharing your story and being open and honest and vulnerable. And that's really, really important. And I think it's important that you realize that sharing your story here today is going to affect someone that listens to it. Someone's going to be listening to this and they're not sure about what's going on in their life. They're not sure about why they're acting the way they are, what's going on, why they're sad, why they have these depressive, dark moments. And they're going to hear this. And hopefully at that point, they may reach out to a friend, to a doctor, to their wife, to maybe face it. Who knows? But if that person's out there driving down the road, listen to this podcast, just heard your story, what would be one thing you would tell them?
I love that. I'd honestly tell them, talk, say something, anything. It can literally be anything. Just say something to someone. Take another, and I suppose I'll just, even though you only asked for one, I'll go two.
Weird.
Extra credit. Just take another step. Mm-hmm. Just take another step. That's it. And it could be it could be the smallest baby step. Just take another step.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's been great having you. This final segment is what have we learned today? This is something where we, the four of us, decide and talk about things that we've learned that we didn't really know of before today. How about you, Andy? Want to start with you today? What have you learned today?
I've learned that you don't age, you level up.
You level up. There you
Yes.
go. And that's important, I think.
There
I think
you
it's
go.
important to be able to lie to yourself and realize you can be anything you want to be, which is wonderful. What about you, Coach?
You know, again, learned or really reminded of that this is a constant thing. And, you know, you've inspired me in that talk you gave, and I'm just going to go off topic for a second. Like, that was powerful. And, you know, like Bill said, you're going to have impact on people with this. You had impact on people then. But it's the continued journey. Reading books, being active, being involved, and you continue to do those things. So it's a good inspiration, a good challenge to all of us to be active in our recovery, stay vigilant, keep doing that stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you, Mr. Meyer? What have you learned today?
You know, Joe, you talked about the importance of being a student of yourself. And, you know, when I named this organization Face It, it was all about facing stuff that I had not dealt with. I was sitting in the back row of the classroom, half asleep, not being much of a student of myself. It's the scariest part of this journey is to be able to look in the mirror and ask yourself some difficult questions. And I believe without that, you will struggle. I don't care what medication. I don't care what therapy. I don't care if you meditate, exercise, eat right. If you can't be honest with who you are and what that is and how to accept all that, I think you'll struggle. So that being a student of yourself is really, really important.
Nice. I like that one. Well, I learned some simple fact that I didn't realize you were in the military for 23 years, which shows dedication, commitment. It shows so many traits that I can see in you, and I really didn't know where they came from. But I mean, 23 years, that's a commitment. I mean, there's not a lot of people that get that far, so that's pretty important. The fact that how powerful and important it is that you and your wife work together on this. You know, we have a lot of guys that are trying to do this themselves, or maybe they don't have that support system. But the fact that your wife can say, you know what, hey, you seem a little short today, seem a little quiet today. What's going on? And you may say, just nothing, I'm just tired, and that's okay. But at least you guys communicate. And the power of having you two work together as a team is so, so important. And this is something that you know that I've known, but I experienced it firsthand sitting 3 feet away from you all day today now, is that your energy is infectious. Your smile is infectious. You mentioned it earlier. You are a light. You are a bright light. And not only for me and here, but for people in your group. People in your group talk about you. They tell me about you. There's a guy who left your group, Steve, who I see quite a bit. And every time we're together, he talks about you. It gets old. But it's but the impact you've made on his life. And actually, you shared at breakfast the part where you needed to call someone at one point.
Yeah.
And it was him.
Yep.
The depth of relationship that's happened through there is really something special. But you are, I mean, I don't know how anyone can be having a bad day after spending about 2 minutes with you, buddy. Your smile,
Thanks,
your laughter, your encouragement, your positive, it's almost sickening. I mean, it's almost over the top, I think.
Oh, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done
But
here.
I'm not.
Can I add on to that?
Please.
Sorry, but when you talk about that support of your wife and that, but also what really stuck out to me was your kids. Mm-hmm. You have 2 boys that are asking you how you are.
Yeah.
And what are you modeling for them?
Yeah.
Be open and honest.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that.
No.
You know, and what a powerful thing that you're giving them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
I have one quick question for you. I heard you say you like to cuddle, and you're a ferocious reader.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
At any time, are you a ferocious cuddler?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a hard yes on that.
Perfect. We'll leave it at that. Joey and I have spent time together in a sauna and a bathtub. So I'm just kind of curious. I just need to know where things are.
You need to know where I stand with that.
Right.
On that note,
Okay.
this has been, you know what? Out of all the episodes we've done today, this has been my favorite one. So thank you so much, Joey, for your time. For Mark, Andy, and Mark, the coach, thank you guys all so much for being a part of this. And again, remember, the stories that we tell here will affect people's lives. So thank you guys all so much for being a part of it. And we look forward to seeing everyone or being here for everyone in the next episode. Take care.
You've been listening to What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. It's real men telling real stories, from depression to anxiety. No doctors or professionals, just real men talking about real issues. For more, visit the Face It Foundation's website at www.faceitfoundation.org to ask questions for future episodes. Send us an email at wtpointpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at What's the Point Podcast, and find us on Twitter at WTPointPodcast. Till next time. This is What's the Point podcast. And remember, you are the point.